All right, everyone, welcome and thanks for joining in today. My name is Dr. Samba. I'm joining all the way from Cameroon, precisely Bafusam for those who are in Cameroon. Um, Session is one of the sessions we have in Solavisetech. At the start of everything, we began with cloud computing and DevOps. I have a background in medicine, trained as a medical doctor in Cameroon, but at some point I decided to transition into tech, now leveraging my medical background as well as in tech, solving health problems as well as tech problems. I happen to be the founder and CEO of Solavis Technologies Institute, and on the call we equally have Dr. Kizito, all the way from USA, who is the co-founder, and we have an amazing team that is located globally, trying to bring forth amazing technologies to our communities. And we are doing all of this remotely from the comfort of our homes. And what is driving us to do all of this? It's because we've noticed that as times change, there is need for us to adapt to this. And we are really committed at Solavisetech to be able to bring these solutions to everyone, irrespective of their background. For example, having a background in medicine, no initial background in tech, I had serious challenges to be able to convince myself that it were possible to get into this industry. And what was that drive on the inside is the fact that I was looking for an opportunity to gain a globally relevant skill that can permit me be able to help other people and equally have more time for myself. And thanks to this tech opportunity, I was able to grow myself, to have the ability to work from home. And we are blessed today to have Kevin as well, who is all the way from Nairobi, Kenya, as our company chief technology officer, and as well as a head for cyber security and cloud security. He is going to be our major host for today, but I just wanted to use the opportunity to say you're all welcome, and we really appreciate you for sacrificing your time to be with us here today. For the next 1 hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours, you're going to be exposed to industry experts in their own sphere of life. You're going to hear their stories. And at the end of the day, we believe that this session is designed for one person. We don't know who that person is, but we believe that these speakers are going to be talking to one person. It may be you. So we would want you to be as focused and attentive as possible. You're going to get a lot of information, a lot of material, but then we would want to make an informed decision at the end of this. The program is really full, but how much I do, I would want to pass it over to Kevin, who is there to welcome probably Dr. Kizito to give us a welcome, message, and then he's going to coordinate the rest of the program. Thank you very much. But before I pass it over to Kevin and people are joining in, I want us to just drop in the chat where you're joining from. So let's know the countries that are represented right on the call. Like I said, my name is Samba Otavis. For those who are just joining, I have a background in medicine, currently serve as a cloud computer and DevOps consultant based in Cameroon. And so, yeah, just drop in the chat where you're joining from. You can just say Cameroon, USA, Nigeria, wherever. Just drop in the chat so we know exactly where you're joining from. Thank you very much, Sang. You're joining from Kenya. Awesome. So we have Kenya represented. We have Nalela from Bamena, Cameroon. Awesome. We have Dr. Angelo from Cameroon. Awesome. So let's have in the chat. Dodge from Kenya. Awesome. Awesome. Cameroon, Kenya. Nice. Keep them coming, guys. Nairobi, Kenya. All right. Asa from Cameroon. Nice. Okay. So far, we have Cameroon and Kenya. Accra, Ghana. Awesome. Eric. Nice. So we have Dr. Ibrahim from the UK. We have Jerry from Canada. Frank from Cameroon. Awesome. So how beautiful it is, right? That at the comfort of our homes, we are able to connect globally and share value. Without much ado, I want to pass it over to Kevin. Kevin, you have the mic, sir.
Thank you. I can already see questions have already come through, even if you haven't started hosting, and if people already started raising your hands, it means that you're going to be up for a nice ride. So, as you've been told, My name is Kevin Tui. I'm a cloud and cybersecurity consultant, as well as the current CTO for Solavisetech. Happy to be here. Happy to be hosting you here. It's exactly 11:15 p.m. in the night, East Africa time here in Kenya. And I was just telling Dr. Samba, there's some things that just keep you up in the night. And some of the beautiful things is when you're doing things not just for your country, but also for Africa. And there's this thing about which we had during our last orientation with the cybersecurity, is there's a lot of potential for Africa, not just to be consumers of technology, but to be producers for technology. So the speakers who are coming through, you need to tell us how you're coming up and being producers of technology. And also, we hope that by the end of the call, you'll be moving back from the UK, from India, and bringing all that knowledge back here to Africa. Don't just serve the APAC and the Europe. You also need to come back here and bring all that goodness of knowledge that you're having, and the insights that you're gaining from these different continents back to Africa. So without further ado, it would be great to just start off on a high. And even before we start with the intros, the brief intros from each of our awesome speakers, Dr. Olivier, Boris, Dr. Ibrahim, as well as Malvin, what I would like to ask, first starting with Dr. Samba, obviously, of course, is what was the last meal that you had? If you'd already taken dinner, for some of us have already taken dinner, couldn't be here without taking dinner. What is the last thing that you had? And you be honest with it. If you did, some of us will start saying chicken, and they know what they took. Is it for or something? So, Dr. Samba, what did you take for the last thing that you took?
Absolutely, I had chicken. I don't know if you're a man of
That
God
is a lie.
I had chicken. Right. I don't know, it's like there's some sound in your background. I don't know if it's from your end or something.
Oh, there's a background noise.
Yeah, I think so.
I can just let me just check it out.
All right.
Okay. Let me just sort that out. Let me just do that a bit.
All right. All right. So for those who have questions, I see Aben Sistusi's hand is raised. For those who have questions, we would want to suggest that you can maybe drop your questions in the chat, or you can just have those questions written down. So when we get to a logical point, your questions can be taken, just so that we have some chronology. Thank you very much.
Okay, I believe right now it's better off, Doc.
Yes, it's better right now.
Awesome. Okay, I'm putting headphones so I can't hear the noise or what is being picked up on my environment right now, but that is awesome. So you've already continued to lie to us that you've taken chicken, but it's okay. We should have seen you with a toothpick or something just to confirm that, but I'm just lying to that. So as you introduce yourselves, our esteemed speakers in no particular order, please also do tell us what you took last, depending on whether you took lunch or whether you took dinner or whatever it is. So we'll start with Dr. Olivier, and then we're going to move with Boris, then Dr. Ibrahim, then Malvin. So over to you, Doc.
Hey, that's an interesting question. I am right now it's 10 a.m., 10:19 a.m. in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. And nice. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at my breakfast. I was very pleasantly interrupted by the meeting. It's good. But I was about to have pumpkin, rice, cabbage.
Wow.
Boiled egg. Okay, let's stop right there. Yeah.
Now that is quite something. So the moment we will see you look to the side as you might be thinking that you're thinking about a point, but you'll be looking at your breakfast. That is quite a nice motivation.
That is correct.
Yeah, nice. Okay, you can please introduce yourself, and then we'll take it over to the next round of speakers.
Okay, so my name is Oliver Shu, or Olivier, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity. It's a humbling offer to talk. And I completed medical school, and that voice is my 2-year-old. And I'm sorry about that. I'll take care of that. So I completed medical school in the University of Bamenda 2019, and I have a background in medicine like Dr. Octavius. And then I did data analytics and policy at Johns Hopkins University at a master's. And then I am a few credits away from a PhD in public health. So that's it for education. And I'm completing an MBA right now in technology, ITM, Information Technology Management at the University of Hawaii. As a job, I started off leaving the Army. I was a medic in the Army. And then I joined a company called HII, where I was a data scientist for a couple months. And then I moved to where I work right now, which is Parsons, and still I'm in data science. By the grace of God, I quickly moved up, and right now I work as a senior data scientist at Parsons Corporation. Mostly we work in general data science stuff, clean data, just general stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's just that the domain is not mainly health; it's mostly defense. So it's that's the little difference. But other than that, that is Olivier. Thank you so much.
Awesome. We're going to come back to you on that thing about defense and how you're getting to juggle between public health and data science. So we're going to first of all go to Boris and just get to hear what he has just taken or what he's looking at right now. Boris, over to you.
Okay, Kevin. I hope I'm audible enough just so that everyone can hear me. Okay. So starting with what I've had, okay. I've had spaghetti and some chicken. Now this one is not a lie, even though I don't have a toothpick. Yeah, that was what I had. And
sure. We'll believe you. I'll believe you, but I'll not believe Dr. Samba.
Okay. As for me, as for my foundation and my background, I started with medical laboratory sciences from the University of Bamenda as well. Okay, from there, I started statistical programming and epidemiology with InSearch in Germany. That was a remote study program with Dr. Babila Tacho. That took me from about 2018 right up to about 2020. And then after that, I had my first job as a data monitoring and evaluation specialist with Center of Health Promotion and Research. It's based in Bamenda in Cameroon as well. So I worked with them from 2020 right up to about 2022. Then I had a possibility to do a master's in IT data analytics in India, where I'm currently doing a master's. I think we're in the first semesters now. We're currently dropping off the program already. So I'm doing a master's in IT data analytics here in India at Guru Kashi University. And then I also enrolled for a postgraduate studies in data science with Madrid Software Institute, which I'm also running up with that as well. So it has also been a transition from a non-IT background into a completely tech oriented background. So I currently still work as a senior data analyst with Center for Health Promotion and Research. And I also run IT support services for data analytics programs as well. So that's where I found myself.
Thank you so much, Boris. Quite something. How you juggle that is really beyond me. But we're going to come back to that. So we'll go to Dr. Ibrahim. Then we'll come back.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. All right. So the first question about what I've heard, Kevin, I think you just have to believe me. I had chicken as well.
What is this
No,
with chicken? What
I,
is
I
chicken
don't
the
have a
cheapest
tooth.
meal
It's a
right now?
soft chicken. It's soft chicken, so there is no need for toothpick. But really, you have to believe me. But in addition to the chicken, I had the pounded yam. I don't know if you know pounded yam, but it's as heavy as fufu. You might know fufu, yeah. So I had
Yeah,
that with
yeah.
some soup. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I had. Yeah. So about me, yeah, my name is Ibrahim. I have a background in medicine as well. I I completed my medical school in Nigeria. Then after which I practiced for a few years. But the the satisfaction wasn't really there. It didn't feel like something I wanted to do long term. I started exploring what I could do. I was so keen. I'd always had the interest in technology, and yeah, I just started as something I enjoy doing. And from there, I created a niche for myself, and then I was able to then transition into IT. I did a boot camp initially. That was in UK. Then after the boot camp, I did a master's as well in artificial intelligence. Then I did a fellowship with a company called Faculty.ai in UK. What's about 8 weeks fellowship. Yeah. Then after that as well, I also worked for about 4 months with Alan Turing Institute. Alan Turing Institute is one of the foremost research institutes in UK when you talk about data science or machine learning. Yeah. So then, then after that, I got a job with a health tech company in London, which I work with currently. The core of what we do mainly is building a computer vision software. Essentially, just teaching computers to see. Yeah. So that's a bit about me, my background, and what I do currently.
Awesome, quite something. Most of us just crave for the British passport, and maybe you're going to tell us whether you're on the way there or you
A
already
few
have
months.
one.
A few months.
Wow. In a few months, you're
I'm
getting one.
I'm
So
close.
nice, nice, nice. You will tell us the secrets around that. So finally, last but not least, in terms of introductions, Malvin, and please don't tell us you took chicken.
Nay, 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 nay.
Yeah.
Namaste. Good day. मेरा नाम Malvin है. My name is Malvin. I'm currently
Mhm.
based in India. I'm a master's student, master's in computer science and engineering. Well, currently, my research field is on intelligent threat detection using machine learning and AI, so and blockchain actually. So my field of expertise, I'm a backend developer. I have a strong foundations in the Python and Node.js. Also, I've used CMS, DevNet. Also work with cybersecurity like CyberOps, OffSec, and NetSec. Data science, AI, machine learning, cloud, and blockchain. Those are my field of interest and field of research. I've been in the IT industry for a very long time, yeah, since 2014. I've also been a lecturer and a head of department for over 5 years in Cameroon before I moved to India to further my studies. I've also worked with a lot of other companies like Speednet. I've worked with New Generations. I've worked with GDA and PexWave. So I've worked with a lot of those companies a lot. Currently, I am pursuing my master's. As I said, I'm almost done with that. So I just need to go in for the defense and things like that, and it will be fine. So my masters, we do a lot and try to focus a lot on the data, like data science, machine learning, and things like that. With my strong foundations in Python, and that gives me really an upper hand with that because I'm a very sophisticated Python developer. I speak the language very well. Yeah. So going into data. I have circulated around the IT field for a while. When I started with maintenance and networks. So I had a strong 2 years foundation on maintenance and networks. So I also studied Cisco, CCNA, before, although I never certified for that. I had to drop that after some time. So I have a strong networking foundation. I'm also a very good system administrator. My favorite operating system being Linux. So I use Fedora for almost all of my activities. I like Red Hat based Linux distributions, so it's fine. Even when I use Windows, I try to incorporate that with Linux distribution. So also with cloud, I also work with other cloud technologies and platforms. So that is about me. Today I will be talking about a lot about my work with artificial intelligence with AI. As we move on, I think you hear much about me and what I have to say when that time comes. Femelenge. Thank you.
Amazing, quite something. I really am impressed with every kind of intro that I've gotten, because it shows a journey. It doesn't mean that just people found themselves becoming data scientists, machine learning engineers, or AI practitioners. There's quite a journey to it. They're starting from here, moving. And what I've just gotten to know from all the speakers is, especially everyone who is already currently studying, getting maybe a few credits to PhD or doing a master's, is there's an aspect of continuous learning. And that means that it doesn't really stop at the undergrad, it doesn't stop at your diploma or your certificate. All of you have this tenacity, or that's this trait around continuous learning. And that takes me to my second question, which I expect obviously all of you, but later on you'll find that there's some questions which it will be good enough if only one or two speakers chime in on them, so that we can be able to gather more questions than as we can in the short time that we're going to be having. So, but this one goes to every one of you. First of all, anyone can be able to say in their own perspective, not textbook definition, data science, machine learning, AI, generative AI, what is all these things, prompt engineering, what, everything is like a buzzword out there. Just give us an understanding. What is data science? What is machine learning? And what is AI? And how do they connect with each other? And especially in the context of what you do in the field of where you work. So without any order at all, you can just unmute and start telling us what, and maybe anyone else can chime in on what any speaker is going to add onto that. So anyone?
Yeah, sure. Now, I'm going to start with the high level and try to keep it straightforward. When I will try to be a little bit brief, and then the other speakers can also, I believe they might have something to chip in into that. Because if I want to really start speaking about the AI myself, I think these 2 hours is not going to be enough. Just for me.
Considering your lecturer background.
Yeah, it's not going to be enough. So just to keep things simple, because there is a lot of confusion out there about all this, and sometimes people tend to confuse AI, data science, and all these things. Now, it's a trend. I have to say it's a trend. Now, almost a lot of things that we are going to be doing, the machine learning, deep learning, they all fall under artificial intelligence. So the first thing is, what is artificial intelligence? It's the development of smart systems and machines that can carry our tasks that typically requires human intelligence. That is artificial intelligence, right? We develop systems that perform these tasks, right? The tasks that normally humans are the one performing. So that is the broad umbrella for this, okay? Artificial intelligence. Now, within artificial intelligence now, we have machine learning. So machine learning is not like a separate field from artificial intelligence. It's a subset of artificial intelligence. Okay, so
people really have to take note of that part. Some people always think machine learning it's different, artificial intelligence is different. So machine learning now, it's subset of artificial intelligence. What is machine learning? Creating algorithms that can learn from data and make decisions that are based on particular patterns observed, right? Yes, that is machine learning. You create algorithms that will learn automatically. Okay, machine learns now how to do things automatically for themselves. That is machine learning. Now, inside machine learning, right? Not like alongside, right? Like a subset of machine learning. Now you have now deep learning. What is deep learning? Is deep learning uses artificial intelligence, artificial neural networks, right, to reach accurate conclusions without human intervention. So with general machine learning, most of the time you're going to need human interventions to maybe to train data, to do a lot of stuff. But with deep learning now, you are using maybe neural networks, example like CNN, convolutional neural networks, right? That you don't need human intervention inside that. Now, for the AI, there are different types of AI. But before then, there are other buzzwords. You have things like statistics. You have data science, big data, data mining. Now, what I've given you right now falls under AI. Now, you also have statistics. Then you have data science. Now, AI cut across these two broad domains also, statistics and data science. But data science is not solely about AI, right? You don't really need to incorporate AI in all your data science work. I mean, you can analyze data and apply your normal statistics into it without using AI to make conclusions. Just you yourself making conclusions from the patterns you are observing in that data. So you don't need artificial intelligence to make the observation for you. But you can still use artificial intelligence for that. So you have statistics. Those are mathematicians, people that are going into the field of business analysis, things. That is their domain. So that is another section, another topic on its own. Now, on the other side, we have data science. Under data science now, we have things like big data and data mining. So when you're talking about big data, it's about corporate things, creating data channels, making, deep internal use of data. Now, for data mining now, it's all about maybe extracting valuable informations from data that is out there. Maybe things like maybe extracting data from web pages and things like that. It's, generating all that data. So that is data science on its own. Now, for AI itself, the broad one, it had different types of AI out there. You have three main types of AI. You have narrow AI, which we call weak AIs, or you can call them artificial neural intelligence. So those are the first one. Things like Microsoft Cortana. I think everybody have used Cortana on the phones, so everybody have used Siri. I mean, those are like the first inceptions where we started seeing Google Assistants and things like that, Siri's on our iPhones. Those are just that is narrow AI, right? It's very weak. It does not have a lot of strength. Now we go now to general AI. Okay, they are out there, or we can also call them artificial general intelligence. So that one, we use that right now. That is what we have been using so far these days. That is general AI, but that is still not all. We have now another one, super AI. Now we are going to see super AI around maybe 2029, around that time. That is when we are going to be seeing things like super AI. Okay, 2029, 2035. That is after we experience super AI after the singularity. All right, that is when singularity, that is when the artificial intelligence is comparable to the human intelligence, and that is perceived to happen around 2035. It means you can compare artificial intelligence to the human knowledge. So that is the singularity. We're expecting it around 2035. And then after that, now we are going to have super intelligence. Super intelligence now, that is when the artificial intelligence surpasses the human brain. Okay, when the human brain cannot compare what the AI can do, especially with the speed and quantum computing, with all what we have out there. I know people still kind of like machines can never replace humans. You know, there are things, yeah, they are there. The possibilities are endless with what Elon Musk is doing right now with the Neuralink. I really think our brains are going to fall behind. Imagine you powering that with artificial intelligence. Okay, you don't need to think again. That is a boost on the brain, right? The possibilities are endless there with Neuralink. So we should really expect that to happen very, very soon. The possibilities are really, really endless. So with that now, I'm not going to keep pushing this thing. We just leave that and I see what the other speakers have to chip in there. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. You're just telling me that very soon I'll no longer be hosting Solavisetech sessions. Thank you so much for making it hard for me.
No, you will if the thing is you're going to be powered to do more than what you are able to do right now. Chip on your mind, the possibilities are endless, you know.
Sure. Anyone, Boris, Dr. Olivier, Dr. Ibrahim, chime in your thoughts.
Okay. Oh, what's hey, Dr. Ibrahim, you can go ahead.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Thank you, Marvin. That was very articulate and comprehensive summary of what AI, machine learning, and data science is about. And I just want to take it, you know, from the perspective of where they all come together. These three fields, there is a common theme in all of them, and that is data. That is the cornerstone of the three fields. Whether you are doing data science, whether you are doing machine learning, whether you are doing AI, data is very, very key. Data science, you need the data to get the insights from it. Machine learning, you need the data to train the models. And same thing for artificial intelligence. So that's very essential. And you know what you also said about the AGI, that's artificial general intelligence. I know most people here might have heard about ChatGPT. So that's at the level where ChatGPT is. Yeah, there is no super intelligence for now. Probably we'll get to that some years down the line. Some practical examples. 2025. You know, the funny thing is the rate at which the advancement is going now. We don't know. It might even be way before then, because things every day, you know, you just get all these big companies here and there springing up one or two things. So we never know. It might not even be up to 2025. So, but yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think yeah, that's you know, that's some practical applications as well, or even to get to the core of machine learning. What exactly is machine learning? This is just teaching computers to learn pattern or to recognize pattern from data. You know, teaching computers to learn from data. That's what essentially it is. Most of us here, we've used Google Map at one point or the other. You know, you just tell Google Map that you're going to a particular destination, and then you don't care, but you don't care. You just get the pattern and get how to take you from point A to point B. That's machine learning working under the hood. You know, and also some other examples. You know, there are so many examples. There are so many examples of application of machine learning and artificial intelligence. So yeah, I think Marvin has spoken a lot, and I'll just give the floor for others to add one or two more.
Yeah,
Okay.
please. Yeah, go on,
Yeah.
Dr. Olivier. Yeah, sure.
So in terms of, I'm speaking to an audience where we have people who probably will be looking, hey, am I going to get into this field, or what am I going to look at? A very high level of what you'll be doing, so that if it's something which is not a comfort, life is only a couple of years, you know. As Dr. Ibrahim said, data, if you're selling mangoes, by the street every day. Monday you say 100 mangoes, Tuesday you say 50 mangoes, Wednesday you say 70 mangoes, and you do that for several years, or let's say several weeks. Now, what your job in so much of data science is collecting this information so that you can be able to generate intelligence. In other words, you can be able to say from this data that you have looking in the past what the probable future can be. So you'll be playing with a lot of data. Artificial intelligence is simply an end goal competence of data. So you'll be playing with a lot of data. Data is everything. Data is videos. Data is audio. Data is numbers. What we are discussing right now here is data. So that is what you are going to be using, and that is what data science is the science that seeks to understand, to exploit, to explore, to infer, and generate capabilities from data. So you have a mind, which is data in every form and shape, and you just go in there. What can I get from this data? If you get a good data scientist, they can use this data and give you good information. If you have a crappy data scientist, they can lie to you. If you have a data scientist who lacks domain knowledge, so you can have good information from data, but if you are not in that field, you make wrong inferences. So data science is just picking out information that can help you from data, you know. And so it's an interesting field because you don't really anticipate what you do. It's very fluid. Like every day has a new challenge. You could be playing with numbers, and tomorrow you're playing with geodata, and you're playing with videos, and you're playing with pictures. So that is what it is. In 2 seconds, machine learning has been perfectly spoken of. My brother Marvin and Dr. Brenda have done a wonderful job. Everything is just, if you listen to it again, you have a very high level, perfect overview of what it is. But it's just playing with information and be paid playing with information. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Boris, anything you want to add on to this? You can unmute. Sure. Awesome.
Okay. I mean, it's really been an awesome experience listening to the other speakers speak, and it's some sort of cross-fertilization where knowledge is just flowing left and right, and we are tapping from it. Let me bring it to the realities of the days where we live. I mean, everyone here surely has a Facebook account. When you go on it, they start recommending friends to you that, hey, follow this person. You might know this person. Did you ever sit down to wonder how did you just know that maybe I know this person from somewhere or something? And if you take note, you notice that most of the people that they are asking you to follow is either you know the person from somewhere, or you have linked with the person, or you even have the person's contact in your phone, or things like that. That is just at a very initial level where if you're on social media, you begin to see things like this. Okay, I'm just giving you the use cases, and so that you just begin, so it triggers your mind to begin to ask questions like these things that they are talking about. Maybe these guys are blowing grammar here, and then we want to bring it down to the level where you have to understand what we are talking about. Okay, now I'm going to give you another example again. If you are someone who buys on these websites where you order goods, like Amazon, we have all the ones. You notice that when you go and you order your toothpaste, they'll propose a toothbrush for you. Now you begin to ask yourself, how did you know that toothbrush goes with toothpaste? You understand? You order sugar, they ask you for milk. They start bringing milk. They say you can also take milk. The question is, how does a computer, how does your phone begin to think that because I bought sugar, automatically I will need milk? You understand? So these are the domains where the generation of today has been able to give machines information using data. They have been able to use data to feed machines with this data, and then the machines understand that when people buy sugar, automatically they might need to buy milk because they want to take tea or something like that. And how has all of this happened? You go to the store every day. Like if you notice, you go to the store every day. If you've been in an advanced setting or something, or even in the local settings, you notice that when you buy your things, you go to the counter, they take something, and then they just tweak, they are pointing it on your stuff, on the goods that you've bought. Okay, let's assume that 10 people came into a shop, and out of these 10 people, 6 people bought sugar and milk at the same time. Automatically, the computer understands that sugar goes with milk. And when they scan those your products like that, that is the That is the supermarket collecting data. And when they collect this data, they use this data to feed these machine learning models that that Dr. Ibrahim and all the others have talked about. And these models learn how things happen, how people behave. They know that if I buy toothpaste, automatically I need a toothbrush, because people who buy toothpaste automatically buy toothbrush. You get it? So that is it at a very basic level with you using it nowadays. And maybe you begin to think that, oh, how does these things happen? And now it is even gone to a point where nowadays, if those who do digital marketing and stuff like that, they will tell you that when you go online and Google something, like you start asking good pair of sneakers, when you go to your Facebook page, if you are not careful, you start seeing sneakers showing up on your Facebook page. And you begin to ask yourself that, how did these people know that I Google good pair of sneakers, and then you begin to see them on your Facebook page? You understand? These are just the trends where we are leading to. This is what is happening nowadays in this generation where we find ourselves. Now, I haven't talked about machine learning and data science, and then that's what we are saying here. And now a lot of persons who might have joined this call or came in here should have been asking the question. Maybe they are coming because they heard of data science somewhere, and maybe they are interested in looking at a career in data science. Or they were even asking themselves, is this even a fruitful something to even look at? You understand? And another question might have possibly been, I don't know, maybe you were going to get to that, but let me just pull it ahead, maybe just to lay the groundwork for those that are going to engage furthermore on that. Okay, so the possible questions you might have been asking yourself maybe also is, even if this thing is so nice, how do you get there? You understand? I would just always refer people back to, we call it University of Google. If you just jump on Google now with your phone or your tablet or your computer, and the first question you ask is, if you go and say top recruiting industries, if you just take top recruiting industry in the world as of 2020, trust me, tech will be ringing up there. You understand? And then if you go under tech and then you Google, what are the soft skills, what are the tech skills that are highly in demand nowadays in 2024 that we're talking about? And if you have listened to the way Marvin and Dr. Ibrahim and all the others they spoke, they are anticipating something that is moving right up to 2035 and possibly even endless. If you follow the trend, the way the thing was, they are telling you that we started from here, now we are here, and we are looking at being here in the next, 5, 10, 6, So now, this is what guides, that I think should guide every young man, every young woman out there who is looking at a career. You want to pick a career, you want to follow some trends. The first question is, you should pick something that is relevant. Let's talk about relevance. Because I will always say, for example, if you grew up developing skills where you were working in a post office to send mails, what used to happen in those days where people post mails through letters, I don't think if you are still doing that job nowadays, it's still relevant. Maybe, but with the advent of emails, WhatsApp, and all these things, if I need to send a text to Dr. Ibrahim in the US, I don't need to go to the post office and do anything. In less than 2 minutes, Dr. Ibrahim, you should have an email from me telling you whatever I wanted to tell you. And so this is just an example of some type of skills that are becoming obsolete. Why? Because of innovation, because of development, and because of progress. And so when we look at the trends, given that these industries are the industries that are currently booming, and these skills are the skills that are highly in demand, now you begin to ask yourself, how do I become relevant in this society of today? Or do you want to be a postman in 2024? Those are some of the questions you begin to ask yourself. And now when you move away from those questions, the next question is, everyone seated here automatically in one way or the other wants to be successful. I don't know how you define your success. Maybe it's about acquiring wealth. One thing I say is that for you to be successful, you need to have a domain that creates an impact in the society. If what you're doing cannot create an impact, I don't know how you intend to be successful. And how do you create impact? You create impact with relevance. And so if your question was, is this data science or is this machine learning or all these things that these people are blowing grammar about, is it even creating impact? They just made that very clear to you by telling you about ChatGPT. I just brought about what is happening on Facebook, telling you how you even go to a grocery shop and buy your stuff, and you see these things revolutionizing around you. And so if you really are a young person or a young graduate out there, and your goal is to create impact in the society, or your goal is to be relevant and, you know, stand out the grounds of time where things are changing and at a very fast pace, you should be interested in skills like these, like data science, machine learning, and all these big data things that we're talking about here, because it has just been proven to you that this is the trend of today. And I can refer you back to Google University, where you go there and confirm, because when you ask that question, they are using data to answer that question to you and telling you that out of the companies in the world that are recruiting or whatsoever, that is the trend we're following. Okay, then the next question you might want to now ask yourself, okay, now I've noticed that it is relevant, it is important, and you know, it's so gonna stand the grounds of time, maybe right up to 20, I don't know, 120 to 100, that's if we meet up to that time. Now you start asking yourself, how do you get there? What are the things you're gonna do to get there? You just heard a whole lot of persons here tell you where they started from. Me, for example, if I sit in front of my computer and I'm typing code, you will not think that, oh, this guy maybe went to some guru tech school somewhere where he started learning when he was 2 years old. I started learning IT, and then now today, and that's why I'm able to do what I said. No, I started in the laboratory where I was basically cutting tissue and, you know, looking at people who might have had cancer or not, and things like that, you know, basically using nothing with those computers. But what happened? In the course of this practice, you begin to see the relevance, because trends are changing. You begin to see how you can impact society in another way, still in what you're doing. You now begin to see technology is advancing. You now begin to ask, people are talking about data. How do I use data in what I'm doing? Because that is what is happening today. You understand? When you start asking those questions, those questions will definitely bring you to webinars like these, where you sit here and you listen to people tell you how they moved from that very point where you find yourself, and today they are becoming experts in the domain. And I think this is a big kudos to Solavisetech to be able to come up with this, a webinar like this, to be able to, you know, inform people, because those, like we say, if you are not informed, you're deformed. So
Yeah.
this was just a platform to give people that information, that it is possible to move from the non-tech background, like if you notice most of the speakers have done, to get to the point where you can become a guru in the industry, where things are happening and there are changes, and you make relevant, you create impact. And at the end of the day, you can call yourself a wealthy man, if that is your definition of wealth, being able to create impact in the society and staying relevant. And so I guess as time goes on, some other speakers will be able to even elaborate on this more and tell you how they were even able to maneuver over very minute things, or they had to do things that they ever never wanted, and then to get to where they are today. I'll keep it short here, and if I come back again, we'll be talking more on that.
Yeah, I love the way you've really tackled a question that I would have asked in terms of what are the real life applications. You know, sometimes you talk about all these things, data science, machine learning, and somebody may not even notice those technologies on the day-to-day lives on Facebook, the recommenders and everything. We may talk about the jargon around it, they talk about recommenders, but somebody just seeing those things and seeing they're able to get this friend and connect, and just because of maybe searching something, they're able to get the right advertisement coming onto their face. That is something really phenomenal when it comes, and it goes back to what Dr. Ibrahim was talking about, which is data is key in everything, and we can go round and round and round, but if the organization, and there's something is going to take me to my next question, is if an organization has really not set up the data, it's going to be very difficult. I remember we had a certain forum earlier this week on Thursday, where our Office of the Data Protection Commissioner were presenting how they had a case study of an AI chatbot, and how they're using that AI chatbot to help their customers to answer certain questions regarding maybe data protection and all these kind of different regulations, because it's a very new field and they want to support. So the pertinent question, the elephant in the room, was why can't we prompt that chatbot in our local language like Swahili here in Kenya? And the answer was very clear. We don't have enough data sets that chatbot can be trained on in the local language for it to understand it and respond in that local language. And it goes back, and also talking about this in the African context, how can we move from being consumers of all these things? I don't know whether I can't even say I can mention 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people from Africa who says, I've created this GPT. Right now, ChatGPT has this feature where you can create GPTs, right? So how many can say that I've created this GPT, it's meant to solve this problem, it's a global problem, I'm from Africa, and it is now being used globally? Or any kind, for example, in even without GPTs, we also have something like Midjourney, we have Opus Clip, we have all these different tools that are helping us, Julius.ai for data analytics and all these visualizations. And when you look back and come to look at these, it all goes back to the data, as you've mentioned. So my question to any of you as you get into this is, what does it take to become a data scientist, a machine learning engineer, who is not going to be a consumer of technologies, who is not going to be just lack of creativity, they're just going to follow the flow and get to a point of an expertise that is impactful? In the having what Boris has already mentioned on the back in terms of impact, because you cannot be impactful if the only thing you're doing is consuming. So how do we move to becoming producers, and how can we purpose our training in terms of data science and machine learning to produce producers, if I can say that, to have people coming out of the program who are producers rather than consumers of these different technologies? Anyone can take up that question.
Yeah, I can give that a try.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I'll the very first thing I'm going to point out, it's you cannot work with something you don't understand. The very first thing is you need a passion for something. For example, I remember back in the days when the programming was it was everything. You had to do programs, but if you only know how to write a program and you don't have a problem to solve, then the programming is as useless as you never knew it. If you are a musician and you know how to program, what do? You program musical instruments, right? That is the way it works. So if you're writing programs, you have to write programs that solve problems. The very first thing is you don't go learning a program that you don't have a problem you're trying to solve with that program, because a program is just a step-by-step instruction that you give a computer to follow to perform a particular task, and that task is solving a particular problem. You must have a problem first. So the very first thing that we need to do is letting people already pick a passion. Because I realized one thing. I have been teaching for 5 years, and I have students, a lot of students. I've graduated a lot of students, a lot of batches. So I know a lot of people. So one thing, when people enter into the IT industry, it's okay, there is a lot of money in this field. Okay, let me get in there, I can make money. But the reality is not just like football. Everybody goes to football. They want to be famous, want to make money. But not everybody makes it out as a footballer. The very first thing you have to know is that you don't just say, okay, I'm going in this field because I want to make money, right? You need to be somebody that is problem solving. You need to learn how to solve problems. So you need to let people have the problem solving skills. So even if we are developing our training, we have to incorporate a lot of problem solving into the program. It should not just be, okay, let's learn data science. All right, let's solve problems. Let's solve problems. Okay, because I've seen a lot of people that have entered and they are leaving. So the very first thing, AI, it's coming to solve problems. It's coming to assist us. Now, it's a very broad field. It applies to everything. If you are in cybersecurity, if you are in health, if you are in government, if anything, you can apply AI to that sector. For example, my own domain, it's cybersecurity and blockchain. That is where I apply AI. Okay, if you're in the financial sector, then you can apply artificial intelligence in the financial sector. So I believe all of us have a passion. Okay, we have a passion. Now you just look at the limitations in that domain, in that field, and you see how you can bring in AI to solve it. Okay, that is the very first point, the very first approach. Now the second point I'm going to make right now is there are so many different domains, so many career paths when it comes to artificial intelligence, and we need to enlighten people about these different career paths. For instance, I can mention about four top ones. You have things like business analyst. You can be data analyst, you can be business analyst, you can be data scientist and data engineer. So you need to know this career path, and then you are like, okay, this suits me, this is where I want to go to. And when we are giving the trainings, we should not just give training like a formal education, like a university that, okay, they are training you to just know these theoretical things about machine learning. Okay, you give a training in such a way that it targets a particular role, it targets something specific. Maybe these people, they want to be data analysts. There is no need of you training somebody to be a data engineer if all they want to do is analyze data. Okay, all that is wasting of time and energy for nothing. Okay, so we do the target. So people need to know the difference in this thing. So you need to know what a business analyst does. So you need to know what a data analyst does, what a data scientist does, a data engineer does. So for business analyst helps organizations determine strategies, okay, ways to run their business. That is the work of a business analyst. Now, the business analyst, well, is a data analyst, but focus particularly on business aspects, okay. Then you have now data analysts. Data analysts use statistical analysis and data visualization to help other people answer specific business questions. Okay, that is the work of a data analyst. For data scientists analyze data and build machine learning models to make accurate predictions. That is what data scientists they do. Right, that's another career path. Then you have now data engineers. A data engineer manages companies' data infrastructure. They are the one who creates pipelines, okay, these data pipelines for data analysts to use, because data analysts, they are going to have a chunk of data to analyze and make sense out of it. But when you're working with a corporation, with an organization, this data comes from different sources, right? Okay, maybe they have their e-commerce platform, maybe they have their user database. So you need to bring this data, clean it up, put it in a particular pipeline where data analysts can use in a reasonable way. And they also make sure that, okay, this data is not exposing what is not the data analysts are not supposed to see. You make sure that, okay, they are anonymized in a particular way, okay, so that the other party, principle of this privilege, okay. So you need to know all these aspects. So you need to first of all pick something you love, right? You like to do, a field, a domain, cybersecurity, finance, business analysis, those things. You need to first of all pick that, right? That this is my passion. I like music. I like this. So you pick that. Okay, everything, anything is possible. And then the next thing is, which kind of problem do I want to solve in that field? Okay, if it's a business, do I want to understand how this business functions? So can I gather more data and make accurate prediction about this business? Okay, maybe okay, we can have a team to do that. Do I want to create a pipeline for other people to analyze this data? When you make those decisions, and then from there, you're going to choose your own career path. okay, that you want to follow. The next big thing is, if you don't want to go through all that, just go with the pay. If you like money, you just look into those career roles and you're like, which one pays the highest? And then no matter what it takes, I'm going to learn what it takes to get the job. And that is the simplest way you can go about that. So that is my take for that at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If I could put it in one sentence, I love the way you've really just put it out and said, don't learn the data science, then think about the problem. Learn about solving the problem first, get to know the problem you're solving for, and then get to learn the data science or the machine learning later on. So we have the docs. When the docs are silent, then they come about. Dr. Olivia and Dr. Ibrahim, they'll come with bangers. So not let them do that question. And I'll just ask them, what does it take? What does it take? Malvin and Boris have set the ground for us, for you, right? What does it take to be any of these roles? We've been told about the business analyst, we've been told about the data engineer, the data scientist, and also the data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, the business analyst, those 4 main domains. What does it take? And in your own eyes, according to your own story, what did it take for you to become the data person that you are, the data professional that you are right now? Any of you can start.
Yeah, hey, I'll go. Thank you, Kevin. You're doing an amazing job. I have done a horrible job at coordinating. Thank you. But I'll talk for data science because I do data science right now, and maybe information technology management, which is like the political side of all of what we're talking about. But the first thing is a decision. It's a decision. A lot of people get trapped in decision paralysis. Will I do this one, or I will go and do this one, and then it's 1 year and it's 2 years and you haven't decided. So the first thing is a decision. I think from there, I was doing a public health program when I was discussing with a friend, and he talked about R. That he started learning. That his friend was learning R and he was giving him a lot of money. For me, initially, it was purely money. That is for sure. It was purely money. That was my motivation. So he was talking about this R that gives a lot of money if you know this language, and it's a good thing. And so I started searching about it. And then I found schools. I went into the curriculum, and then I took a step back, and I thought about where I am and what directions do I anticipate going. It's a step, and if I start in that direction and I want to back off, it's just wasted 1 year, wasted several years. I took a step back and I was like, okay, I'm a medical doctor, and at this point, I either pursue this IT career, which is a perfect thing also, or if my passion is not this, how can I leverage this dollars? To me, that was my thought process. And I thought about it. I went through all of what has been said already, all of these different fields, and I look at the one of them which aligns with my goals. And that was data science, because I love research, and so data science it gives me that added capabilities to be able to see beyond what a regular scientist is going to see, struggling with SPSS and APN4 and all of this messed up softwares. But that was how I took the step. So the first thing to me is a decision. Once there's a decision that, hey, I'm going to look into this, and then you look into it. Again, very briefly, there is so much, and you can reach out to any person on this platform. You can reach out to me, and we can discuss about it. There is so many things to go into. Once you have settled on one, then that is when the advice comes in. There's a caveat: you do not need so much education to get into the field. I just love to. I was in the field, and it was interesting. It was very interesting, and that is why I kept going. It's not like I need to get a PhD, or I need to get all these things to get into data science. That is, as a matter of fact, I currently I no longer code. because I do my job is more political right now. I have to go and convince the general why he has to allocate this amount of money for this project. They know they don't like that because the skills, software skills and all of these things, the value are intangible most of the times. So that it's hard to convince someone who is paying money until the results are there, you know. But the idea is once you have settled on something and you want to do it, you decide on how you want to do it. And so the reason I swayed off a little bit is because I received by the grace of God, I received a lot of resumes, and I sit on interviews, you know, and the decision is not based, not even up to 50% on your education. You could be from Hopkins, from Harvard, for all I care. You know, if there is a zeal in your heart, and if there's an alignment between what you wrote on your resume and the way you communicate yourself, you're most likely to get that position. The next thing is that these roles, we can only distinguish them right here, but really in practice, they overlap a lot. They overlap a lot. Like I got in as a data scientist, and I started doing the jobs of data engineers, you know, ETLs and all that good stuff. I was doing all of that. And I had to stop at some point, go try to learn AWS, because the Department of Defense will not use any other cloud platform at the time but AWS. So these roles overlap so much. However, it's important to be able to break into the system. You have to break in, and to break in, you have to choose one. Choose one, know it, you know, and to know it now is cheap, brothers and sisters. It's cheap. All you have to do is to go to Google, go to YouTube. I learned the most from YouTube, more than Johns Hopkins. Somebody's going to be taking so much money and it's not teaching anything. But you go to EDX, you go to Coursera, you go to there's one other one which is really cheap. It's like $29 and you get a whole course. There's platforms like this. I actually did register for a coding boot camp, and it was very helpful. I did not get to complete it, but it was extremely helpful with actually getting the coding skills, you know, and all of this. So I'll say that to get in is that you settled on something. You use that as the way to break into the system. To break into the system, you have to know a little bit how to do it, you know. Otherwise, you need to find other things to camouflage your skills, like degrees. But in the absence of like a degree, no one can ignore skills. You know, if I'm on an interview, and usually I'll do the interviews where you have to code. It's not like where you say that I can code and we end there. No, the platform is going to be shared, and then you are going to code, and it's being read. So it's important to take some time and actually learn. So when this thing starts and all these awesome people are teaching, go back on your own and learn. No one can ignore good skills. If you are communicating, if you're articulating yourself well, and someone can see that there will be value in adding you on the team, hey, it's for sure that whether or not, if that is a senior position, they might just bump it down a little bit just because they want to retain you. But the important thing is find a way to break in. Make sure you know it. It's not this thing where, you know, we can just play ourselves around and make sure you know that field, break in, and then be ready to learn almost a little bit of everything.
Awesome.
That is my experience.
Yeah. Over to you, Doc Ibrahim.
Yes. Yeah, I think all the speakers have really nailed the point. And to reiterate some of the things that we said, just to summarize, I think it's quite important to have that drive, that passion. It's very important to have that, because there'll be challenges along the way. And some of the things that will keep you going is that passion for what you want to achieve. I'm certain, I didn't even need to ask. I'm sure it's the same thing for every single person here, and for all the other speakers, that on the journey, there were times that, you know, you struggled, probably even felt like, I mean, should I stop this thing? But because that passion, that zeal was there, that was able to keep you going, push you forward, you know, one day at a time, till this point that everybody has gotten to. So it's quite important to have that. And also the domain knowledge, because the way you interact with the data will be different from if you don't have knowledge about the data. I'm a doctor, for example. If I see medical data, the way I will interpret it, even just looking at the data, will be different from someone that is coming from a non-medical background and is giving some data to interpret, to analyze or to use to train a model, because a lot of times it's about the data. Good data will give you good models. It's not really it's about how good your data is. So if you're able to have that knowledge, you understand the data, then I think it translates onto the other things that you do with the data, whether you're training models or you're drawing insights from it. So those are quite important. Now, some other things I feel are important is having a solid foundation. Don't skip the foundation. It's good to have that grounding and have that solid foundation that you can then build on top. Definitely you don't need to know everything, but once you know the foundation, every other thing then becomes easy. When I was learning AI, the bootcamp I did it, and even when I did my master's, there was nothing like generative AI. No. But today, of course, I mean, I've played around with generative AI, I've built models, used it even before. So why am I able to do that? Because that solid foundation was there and I'm able to build on that. So please do not skip that. It's very, very, very essential. And one other thing I think is quite important is being able to communicate, because if you've done a lot of work and you're not able to communicate your work, then nobody knows what you've done. Or if you do not communicate your work properly, then people will not really understand what you're trying to do. And I think this is important at work and also important at what Kevin made mention of about how we as Africans, how do we want to be producers and not just consumers? We need to be able to design, okay, what problem we want to solve, and then have a plan, and then be able to communicate this to the world that this is what we are trying to do, and this is the approach we are taking to do it. And very, very, very essential, because it's not possible to do this all alone. Collaboration. You need to work together with people, work as a team. And yeah, I think there are quite a number of things, but I think these are like very important things that you need to have at the back of your mind when you're coming into the field. And yes, I think it was mentioned also about the understanding the role. I think it's quite important. You need to understand the role, because don't just jump into the role and say, okay, no, but really I don't like this data science. This is not what I was told data science is. You need to have a good understanding of what it is. And as Oliver said, that yes, at a point in time, it might be overlapping between the fields, between the different roles. You might, particularly if you're in a small team, you might have to be doing data analysis, data science, machine learning, and doing everything all together. Now, for example, in my career, that happens a lot, and even that was why I was able to. But sometimes it can be positive, because I was able to actually learn about the cloud as well, because I saw the opportunity and I took the opportunity. I was able to learn about the cloud and also learn about DevOps as well. So one last thing I want to mention is you need to have that mindset of continuous learning. You just have to keep learning. It's a never-ending like learning cycle. You just have to keep learning again and again. So yeah, so I think I'll just keep it at that. Thank you.
Awesome. I think with that, Dr. Ibrahim, I don't think any speaker has anything to tell learners of what they need to do to succeed in any of the 4 roles when it comes to thriving. And I love the way you just mentioned something regarding what the question I had on how do we as Africans move from just being consumers of these technologies to also producing this technology. And you've mentioned about collaboration. We can't work along, and the only way we can collaborate with people is if we, or any other continent, any other big tech, any other support that we can get, is if we're able to communicate our work effectively. How can we communicate the problem you're solving? And another thing that you've already mentioned that has cropped up a number of times in this orientation call is domain knowledge. And sometimes people just jump into learning data science, data engineering, data analysis without having any domain knowledge that they want to solve a problem for. So they don't try to focus. If they're into financials or something, they don't get to go back and look at the foundations and what is needed. How can we be able to say what is right or wrong about financials? And I really love that. I hope the audience in the call are taking notes, because I'm already having 3, 4, 5 pages of notes from all of you. So you're doing a really awesome job. I don't know what I'm going to do in terms of my LinkedIn posts after this. So there's some different questions that are coming in the chat. That is a cue to me that my time to shine and ask you questions is almost over, because I'll be taking it back to Dr. Samba to run the Q&A for us. And just as my final question to all of you is, what are these myths? What are these misconceptions around data science, machine learning, AI that you see daily, even right now? And how do we debunk them, or how have you already debunked them, or how do you always debunk them on a day-to-day basis, so that we can thrive, so that anyone who is thinking about a career, they're considering whether they're going to do data science, they'll be able to notice and be conscious of these misconceptions so that they don't fall for it. So that is my final question to all of you, starting with Boris, then we'll go to Malvin, and then Dr. Ibrahim, then we finish up with Dr. Olivier, then we go to Q&A. So let's get it on.
Kevin, I like that question very much. We've said a whole lot of things here that at times people would think we are blowing grammar or something. I would like to start this one by just telling you a very funny story or something like that. I mean, it worked for me, and I love the fact that you brought it to the day-to-day aspect and this myth kind of thing. Let me just take 2 minutes to walk you through a story. If you've been to the hospital anywhere, or especially in Africa, tropical regions where we actually have infectious diseases, this is something that dawned on me, and that prompted me to start looking at these things. Now, you notice that when you go to the hospital at times and you have an infection, they'll do something that they call culture. I don't know, maybe you're not too versed with it, but they actually what they do is they take your sample that you're sick of, whatever you're sick of, is your blood, or maybe is your vaginal collection or something, and then they actually put it in a culture measure where the microorganism or whatever is wrong with you, or whatever is causing an infection in you, is making you sick. And what happens is that when this thing grows, the medical laboratory scientists can now see this microorganism, and then they move forward to do something that they call antibiotic susceptibility testing. Like, they test different drugs on this infectious organism, and then they are now able to say that this drug will be able to cure you. Now, this is how my story comes in. I worked as a medical laboratory scientist before even venturing into the data science domain. And now this is one thing I noticed within our institutions. How long does it take to do a complete culture and susceptibility test? At times it's 3 days. And almost a chunk of hospitals, for where I practice in Cameroon, a chunk of hospitals were doing these things. Now, every client that comes still has to go through the same routine. Now, when you come and you are very sick and your sample is collected to do culture and susceptibility testing, you have to wait for 3 days before the doctor now comes and say, oh, start taking this drug. What if you die while waiting? There's something the doctors in the call would admit, there's something they call prophylaxis, where you are given a drug to start taking just based on the signs and symptoms that you are presenting with. And the doctors need information to be able to put you on prophylaxis. Now, this is how I started looking at this from a direction of data, just to play away the myth so that you don't think that we are blowing some grammar here. And then people are now saying, how does this thing work? Now, imagine that in a hospital, let's take regional hospital that has been doing this culture for 10 years. And there is a particular bacteria that they have been identifying that this bacteria is causing this so and so infection, and this drug actually works to kill this to cure this bacteria. That data has been collected for a long period of time. Isn't it enough for us to be able to say we can use this data, and when you come and you're presenting with those symptoms, we tell the doctor that from the data that we have collected, we think to a certain extent, like 90%, because we have analyzed this data and come up with these predictions that based on the information that we have been to accumulate for the past 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, we can say with some level of certainty that this person has this problem and this drug will likely solve the problem. And the doctor start with some prophylaxis, start giving you something to take while they go ahead to do the culture and sensitivity thing, which will take 3 days and sometimes a week before you get results. That is a very clear application where you actually put these things into context. And now you begin to see that it is not myth, it is not grammar we are blowing here. It is things that you actually experience them. And every day you go to the hospital today, you might have to sit on your bed and you cry for days or months while you're waiting for your results to come out, and then for the hospital now to begin to give you drugs for you to take. So this was just one clear example where we're just clearing the myth, so you don't think this data science thing we are talking about is something that you have to go out of the world to do it. I just gave you a clear example where they can actually apply this to get results that impact change within the society and even lives. So you get it. So there's no myth around it. And just to top it up in another way, just to say that I personally believe that if you live within a network, within people, if I call somebody and if you call Marvin, I say Marvin is my friend, and you ask him, what kind of problem can I take to Boris, and he'll solve it. Marvin should just immediately tell you that if you have a data related problem, take it to him. You understand? And then that is within my network. So that should apply to Dr. Samba, Dr. Ibrahim, and whosoever who is close to me. If you have a data related problem, take it to Boris. That is my network identifying me. And then my friends automatically are not the friends of Dr. Samba. So if Dr. Samba's friends come and tell Dr. Samba that I have a data related problem, what is going to happen? They're going to tell Dr. Samba is going to tell them that I have some other person who is good at data. So go to him and he will solve your problems. You understand what I'm saying? And then that's how your network begin to grow. And so in essence, people now start referring you because they identify you with something. And so these skills, developing them is another way of being able to identify within the trends in the society that this is who you are, and people can reference you for that. You understand? And just to crown it all, the applications are the things that we actually live on day to day, because even a phone click, when you click your phone, when you send a message or anything, even this Zoom call we are on, we are actually generating data. And there is no myth about the data, because I can now come in here and I look and I say, we have 40 people on call. It's not a myth. It's because there's a certain system that has been built in to count the number of sign-ins here. So there's no myth about it. It can count. And now I can be able, if we have another meeting tomorrow and we have 40, 50 people, I'll say we had 40 yesterday. Today we've added 10. And that is data we are talking about. So there is no myth about it. It's a day-to-day thing that we live. And that is the way I'll put it, and that is the way I will address the concept of some myth about data.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love that practical example. It just put me into mind the amount of misdiagnosis that always takes place in our different hospitals across Africa, and the amount of drug resistance that you are causing because of the lack of data, or even maybe administering drugs that are no longer supposed to be prescribed or something. And if we had the data and all these things that we already just mentioned, we could be solving real problems. And thank you so much for that, Boris, and showing that we are not blowing into thin air or building castles in the air. So taking it back to Malvin.
Okay, thank you. About the myths, I'm going to point out some few myths that are out there. If possible, I can try to go maybe 5 or 10. I'll be very brief about them and specific. The very first one is all data roles are the same. Yeah, although these data roles overlaps, but these are all separate roles on their own. Okay. And I'm going to also talk about another myth where you see if can you transition between one role to another. The question is already yes, you can transition from one data role to another. Nothing is stopping you from doing that. Myth number 2 is you need a PhD or master degree, okay, to do data science. Reality is you don't. Okay, if you want to go into research academics, okay, I'm going to say, okay, go through a formal education. But if you need to go into the industry, platforms like this, Solavisetech is exactly what is going to give you the way to go, because you are working with people that are working in the industry, that are training you, they are telling you exactly what is needed to succeed in that role. So as a result of that, formal educations are good if you want to focus on a research base. Like there is another role called AI researcher. Okay, then formal educations are good for that. But if you want to go into the industry, this is a very good program for you to follow for that. Okay. Another thing is do you need to be know how to code to be in this role? No. Now there is a concept we call no code. Okay, I mean that is a trend. It's preliminary right now, but we are getting there. I mean, we are in AI generation, so you don't need to write code in order to go into data science. Back in the days, yes, you had to write code, but right now there are a lot of platforms that we spit out this code for you. I mean, you just with prompt engineering, I believe we have talked about prompt engineering. You just tell an AI like write a code that does this for me. Even if you even need to write the code, it will do that, and you just copy it and paste. You don't even need to see the code. I know people are scared of codes over there, but you drag and drop. You just drag and drop files, things like that on your dashboard, and then it automatically generates codes on the background and you publish an app. I have no friends that have published a lot of apps on Play Store without writing a single line of code, just drag and drop content. Okay, a lot of platforms out there for that. You don't need to know how to code. Don't be scared with the code. It's an advantage if you do. Data science is only for the graduates in technology. Of course, if you look at the backgrounds, a lot of the speakers, yeah, that will tell you that is false. You don't need to come from our IT background in order to join data science, right? It's obvious, you are seeing it. Now, data science is only for predictive modeling. It is not only for predictive modeling. A lot of things you can do with data science, okay? Just totally a lot. Another big one that is out there that I know some people throw some people off, it's mathematics. Do you need to know mathematics in order to be in data science? No. I never knew shit about mathematics. I'm coming from an arts background before I went to computer science and engineering. I did geography, economics, philosophy and history. Okay. And then I went to computer engineering. Well, that is a bummer. You imagine that. So you don't need to come from mathematics background before going into that. But the good mathematics is going to really, really help you there. Now, why not? Because if you ask a lot of them there, do you solve mathematical problems while working? No. All right. You only go through mathematics when you want to start creating maybe the models themselves, the algorithms, large language models. But most of the time you are using already existing models, so you don't need to write the equations for that. Now, in my case, for example, I am trying to create an algorithm that is like on my current research field right now, that is going to predict threats in real time, because I told you I focus a little bit, I'll lean in the side of cybersecurity and blockchain. So I'm focusing on predicting threats in real time, threat detection and prevention, or using machine learning and blockchain. So I need to bring out maybe an algorithm to do that. You do that, and then after store it in the blockchain. Yeah, you need to apply some mathematics there. somehow. But you pick this few arithmetic. In computer engineering, we call it discrete mathematics. You don't need to go through a lot of things in order to get into the field. So you can pick the basics that you need in order to get the things done. But you don't need to know any math at all. I can tell you about that. You can come from history and totally do data science, as I'm telling you in this age. You don't need, if it comes to the worst, ask an AI who solve the mathematical problems for you, okay, when you're in the field. Now, another thing, it's learning tools enough to become data science. You don't need to learn tools, all right? It is just a lot that is going on in the background that you need to know to become data science. Knowing these tools like scikit-learn, NumPy, and all the rest, they are good, of course. You need to know them in order to operate these things, in order to learn these things. So, yeah, but when you're starting, just get started. You just need to enroll for a program like this, and the experts that are giving you already, they know exactly what you need, and they are going to tailor you towards a particular path you need to follow. And you have people that are holding your hands there. It's not like a formal university where you have 100 people in a class and maybe they are not really concentrating on you, okay? And what they are giving you is academics, okay? Like totally academics things, like theory, no hands-on practicals. But when you enroll on the programs like this, they give you the practical hands-on real-life examples and the problems we face in the field, okay? So that you have nothing to worry about. Another thing is, okay, I'm going to learn this program, and companies don't hire freshers. Yeah, back in the days, yeah, it's difficult, but trust me, in every single brain you add in your team, you are adding another person that will be thinking out of the box. All right, a single person cannot really make all the thinking. So people know freshers comes with different problems, and as I told you, you need to have a problem in order for you to start solving the problem, and you need people that will be thinking out of the box. So freshers comes and they bring different way of solving problems. But when you meet the engineers that are already there, these people are experts. All what they focus is making their money. They most of the time, somebody will not focus on maybe bring in something maybe new or creating something new. All what is it is, okay, how can I minimize my time that I'm inputting in this company and just get away with it, okay? But freshers, they are still passionate about the field, all right, and they try to give a lot. So companies, they know that, so they have roles for freshers, okay? Like, yeah, sometimes you see a company saying that, okay, we need graduates for this year, okay? Only maybe 2023, you need a batch for 2023 graduates. If you go to the job boards, you see a lot of jobs like that, okay, that are posted for freshers only. Transition is impossible, as I told you people. It's not. You can move from one role to another. I think Dr. Olivier already mentioned something like that you just need to pick a field. You just need to pick something, maybe data science. Pick something, start with it, okay? The most basic part to start with is data analyst. I can tell you that thing is, it's very straightforward to go. Yeah, a lot of people always start doing data analysis. When you start doing data analysis, you start understanding data, because you cannot start using data using that data to train models that you don't understand. The very first thing is you need to understand the data. You need to analyze it. People always start with data analysis. You can start with data analysis for that, okay? And then you move on to the other major roles, okay? And then competition will make you an expert. Competition is good, okay? It's good to be competitive in this field, okay? But not necessarily. Sometimes you have unhealthy competition, right? But it's good to really be competitive a little bit, and that is what platforms like this provide for you, okay? Because when you enroll on programs like this, you will have a team. You will have exercises that will trigger you to think, to work harder. All right, you have exercises coming up. There will be an app that will be provided for you, that you have daily tasks to do. So I remember when I started learning programming, what gave me the go ahead, the zeal, the passion was, I keep doing it. And you sleep, as you sleep, you dream about codes, you dream about problems, and immediately you get up from your bed, the next thing what you do, you go to your computer and then you're coding the things, okay? So with the system system, with the approach that Solavisetech is using, it is something that is going to really take you to another level more than what other training platforms are doing over there. Yeah, so I would really say, okay, you consider the training, and then you're working with experts, people who are in the field. Because I'm seeing questions popping up at the Q&A. All right, like, okay, is the job guaranteed, the jobs, things like that? You will have people that are already in the field that are helping you when you apply. If you have people that are in the company, like people that are hiring, like Dr. Olivier, yeah, you think if it's somebody that is graduating from maybe Solavisetech, who is he going to favor? You know, you already have an upper hand because you have recruiters in the platform that are training you. Okay, so that already gives you the upper hand. For things like, okay, are there scholarships for people that want to go for the formal educations overseas? Yes, there are a lot of scholarship programs, right? A lot of us are out. If you want those scholarship programs, it's very easy. You just get in touch with any of us, and then we'll make these scholarship programs available for you. Since, okay, you are enrolled in our academy, we'll also make these things very, give you people special discounts for that, okay, because you are enrolled with Solavisetech. Because formal education is good, it gives you accreditation. Now, when you have the formal education with a training program like this, you already have an upper hand in the field. Okay, so for those who are enrolling in the academy, all right, you get in touch with us. We'll make sure that, okay, for the formal educations, we'll give you special discounts for that. All right, so that one is already covered for you people, guaranteed here in India. You know, India is a center for tech, right, in the field right now. So we'll make sure that, okay, you have good universities over here with good scholarship for that. So anything, then we'll be there to assist you with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very comprehensive, Malvin, and I really appreciate it. I'll not take any more time on that, and I'll just take it back to the docs. I'll start with Dr. Ibrahim, then we'll finish with Dr. Olivier. On the same question, then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, all right, thank you. And yeah, the previous speakers, they've spoken really well about the different myths. And I remember when ChatGPT came out, there was this fear that, oh, ChatGPT is hard, it's going to do our jobs, you know, there won't be jobs anymore. But you know what happened? There was more jobs, because I'm sure you must have heard about prompt engineers or generative AI engineers. And if you go and check how much they are being paid a lot, like a lot of money. So the fear that, oh, are the jobs there? Yes, the jobs are there. It might not be easy to get, but the jobs are there. If you put yourself in the right position, I think you will be able to get, break into tech. And two things that I see that are very also key in terms of getting a role is, one, networking. You just have to network. It's very key. Don't wait until you feel you are ready, because to be honest, you can never be ready. You can never learn everything. So start your networking now. What you're doing now is already networking. Start your networking. Make sure you connect with people after this program. And also, you know, Solavisetech is a very good platform to network as well, collaborate. So I think you have a very good platform that can give you everything you need to get into the role. So yeah, so please do networking, and also to express that ability to be able to be trained. Yeah. So if you can express that, any company is even willing to get you on board and train you. People are willing to do. They just want to know that, okay, can we work with you, and are you trainable? So yeah, those are quite important. So the jobs are there. Don't be afraid. I know recently, just a few days ago, there was this release of, I don't know if you guys heard about Devin, the first ever AI software engineer. So there is this fear around again that, oh, what's going to happen to software engineers? No more jobs. But you know, we'll see the impact in a few months, and then you see what happens. So yeah, it's quite important to get yourself ready for the position. And I think another thing again is, I think people always think that AI can solve any problem. That AI is a silver bullet. No, that's not true. AI cannot solve anything and everything. You know, imagine maybe you're thinking about creating an AI model to wear your shirt for you. I mean, what kind of I mean, that's not the right question to be asking, right? So you need to be able to ask the right questions to use AI to be able to solve a problem. So AI cannot solve every problem, and the smaller the task, the easier it is for AI to solve it. So if you choose one task and you try to solve it, then I think you have a better chance. I mean, one, of course, one like reasonable task to solve. Another thing is AI will replace humans, or like will take our jobs. Yeah, so yeah, I've talked about that, but I guess as it is as we speak now, I don't think it's because at the core of AI, what is it? It's just algorithms, mathematics, and stuff like that. So we should, yeah, I mean, we shouldn't have that. We can have that back in hand, but at least now, so far, as much as we know, AI cannot replace humans. And another key thing is AI is unbiased, that is very accurate. No, sometimes there are errors, sometimes it's biased, and this is where we as Africans we need to step up a bit in terms of trying to get our data. I think at the core of all of this is data, because we've had situations where models trained on Caucasian data is not able to, or is misrepresenting or giving a wrong result for an African person. So this has happened, or even some situations where maybe models trained for facial recognition not being able to recognize an African person. So this we see this happen time and time again, and this is just because that we've not put ourselves in that position to also create models that are trained on our own data. So we need to find platforms like this are very good. We use a platform to collaborate and try to solve these problems that we have as Africans as well. So the more data scientists we have, the better. And I think yes, Solavisetech will do a very, very, very good job, a good platform to come onto to help us get into the field. I did a boot camp as well, and I know the positive effect it had, because it was a platform to push you to collaborate, work in teams. I've tried learning IT on my own personally, and also as a team working both them. And I can tell you that working as a team, coming to platform like this, it will accelerate your learning a lot. A lot, I tell you. This is from personal experience. There is no missing about it. So yeah, so I think that's all from me. I think okay, certifications as well. I think they are good. They're good to have certifications, particularly the professional ones. However, a lot of the other things that we mentioned are quite important. They are good as add-ons. So once you've had the solid foundation, you build on top of that, you network properly. If you have certification and you're not networking, you might get somewhere, but if you network with your certification, you'll go further. So yeah, so I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Doc. Without belaboring that, awesome. Just take it to Dr. Olivier.
I think almost all what I can think of has been, in terms of a need, has been spoken. The only one thing I'll talk about is that it's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's not difficult. Einstein said that if you can explain it simple enough, then you probably haven't understood it. So if it's seeming difficult, I will question my teacher. It's not you. If it's seeming difficult, I'll question my teacher. It's not you. Run away. Find someone who can teach you. It's not difficult. However, based on our personalities and our orientations, there is certain fields that will fit our strengths. And so it's important to align our strengths with a particular kind of field in the AI. Otherwise, you'll be thrown into something where you have to do a ton of learning, but it's not difficult. As everyone has said, don't run away from it because of maths. Don't run away from it because of coding. The CEO of Google recently said that coding as a career is dying. The half-life is really short. Coding as a career is dying. You know, you can pull out code from anywhere right now. All you need is people who can interpret this thing that is spitting out. You know, it's not difficult. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that, and just keeping it short and sweet, Doc. I really love that. It's never difficult. It's not difficult at any point in time. Also love what Dr. Ibrahim has mentioned. Boot camps accelerate your learning. What you could have done maybe through Google and YouTube over 1.5 years or 12 months, when you do it in a boot camp of around 12 weeks, you'll be able to get much more. And the myths, Malvin have already really drilled down on each and every one of them. I couldn't even keep up with them. I'm going to digest them after the session. And I really loved everything that you mentioned in terms of all these different myths. And obviously the highlight, Boris also mentioning it in terms of a practical scenario. I really love that. Thank you so much for really tackling that question. And before I take it to Dr. Samba, I'll invite one of our co-founders for Solavisetech, Dr. Kizito, to just say a word and also appreciate the speakers for really an awesome of your time. And then I'll take it, Dr. Samba, to take us through the Q&A. Over to you, Dr. Kizito.
Thank you, Kevin. Really amazing to hear from Kevin. First of all, I just want to appreciate your time and the coordination. You're handling it so perfectly. And also, I want to thank Ibrahim, Melvin, Dr. Samba, Boris, and all the speakers here doing an amazing job. Right, and I also want to thank everybody that was able to make time to come here today to listen to these experts speak. It's really an amazing thing, right? You need to prepare yourself for the future, right? We need to get the skills that we need to be able to operate effectively and efficiently in the IT world. If you have medical doctors here, so many of them, right, telling you how they're moving from the medical field into IT, coordinating, trying to how do I put it? Using IT and the medical field to do things. Just imagine how the world is changing. The technology is great. Right. I just want to again thank everybody. You're all welcome. All I need to say or want to say here is for those who want to learn this technology, just keep a positive mind. Be ready to learn. Okay. And you know, you need to explore things for yourself while you are learning from these experts. You can always read. A lot of them have said so. Read for yourself, learn so many things, and then come to the experts for guidance, for help, for assistance. Right? And then we will together achieve that success that we're all looking for. Again, thank you, everyone. Let's keep learning. All of them have said, don't stop learning. We learn new things every day. It's a broad field, IT. It is just like any other field of learning. It's quite broad, but we are in it together. We will guide you through. We will help you to succeed. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much. Let's give our co-founder, Dr. Kizito, some virtual rounds of applause. He really supports us through the program all the way from the US, always following up on what we're doing and always supporting us in terms of what we really do. Thank you so much, Doc, for that. So without further ado, I know we really almost are almost up to time at the top of the hour. I'll take it to Dr. Samba and see how you're going to deal with the mountain of questions. Over to you.
All right, thank you so much, before we get into that, I want everybody to just drop an amazing word for Kevin in the chat. He's been an awesome host. I think Kevin would have done journalism, right? You're an awesome journalist. Yeah, I just love
Good
the way
try.
I mean, it's really awesome. Secondly, let's do our hearts for all the experts that have given out their time. I'm surprised Dr. Olivier is still here with his busy schedule. He told me he was going to make out just 20 minutes, right? But he's been here for over 2 hours. Can you imagine? This is beyond measure. Thank you all so much. And just to let our audience know that this team they've seen today is the team that is going to take them through the journey into data science and machine learning, right? So it's going to be a 7 to 8 months intensive program. For those who maybe are just joining, I have a background in medicine. I had zero IT background, but I just had an open mind to get into the field of cloud computing and DevOps. That's my own area of specialty, right? But then I wasn't getting in because I just wanted to get a job. I was going in because I identified a problem I wanted to solve. Majority of us on the call, probably with the health background, I would say, we're really passionate about what we do, but one of the biggest challenges is the time. We don't have the time for ourselves sometimes and the time for family. And that was a big struggle for me. And I equally wanted to impact so many people, right? But there was a limit to how many people I could impact just within the small confines of my own office. So I was looking for a skill set that could help me impact people globally. And there is no such relevant skill today as tech. And so with no initial background, I couldn't go back to the university to start off, into computer science and all of that. So a shortcut for me, a route for me to have taken was to seek for mentorship. And like somebody asked, how do we break into tech? There's a question in the chat, like, how do you break into tech without any IT background? These are examples in front of you. They initially never had an IT background. But if you have a mentor, like everybody here on this call is already a mentor to you, if you are going to earn it, I'm going to repeat this. We are not looking for everybody to get on the program because it's challenging. It sounds interesting, yes, but it's challenging, where you need to have a solid internal motivation. If your internal motivation is not strong enough, you will start the program and you're going to quit. So we are looking for people that are determined. We're looking for people that are focused. We're looking for people that are willing to be teachable, are willing to be coachable, and are willing to be trainable. We are looking for people that are ready to do whatever it takes. Is it going to be easy? No. But is it going to be possible? Yes. Because you're not the first person doing it, but you have a team of persons that will take you along that journey. But now, before we maybe take on those questions, what should you expect? Because this training is actually going to start by mid-April. So from Monday, we are going to be taking you through a 4 days of like a webinar series where we will give you a foretest of what you should anticipate, so that you really look at it and really ask yourself, is this thing really for me? Like we said, we are looking for people that are willing to commit to the process. So let me just show you guys a high level of what it's going to look like. So for 4 days, these experts will dedicate their time to take you through basic concepts. So the way the structure of the training is designed is such a way that we assume that you don't have an IT background. So even if you have an IT background already, but it's going to be put on a level ground for everybody. So day one, which is on Monday, you're going to have something around an introduction to Python. Today, what I do in the cloud and DevOps, I do a lot around Python programming. But then I initially had no coding background, right? But I was open enough to learn. So you'll be exposed to that. Number two, you're going to have, to write your own first Python program. And then day three, you're going to take a look at Excel, your first Excel dashboard. And on day four, you're going to take a look at your first database using MySQL. This is just a high level, right? But going now deeper into the training, which is going to be led by Boris on the call from India, you're going to go into other deeper concepts. But for the next 4 days, we are looking for people who would want to commit just 1 hour 30 minutes of their time, from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. West African time, so that probably you're after work, you're able to sit down and go through this program, right? Then you're going to be able to make that decision for yourself if you are the right fit for the program. Okay, so now, while we go in to take more questions, I think another question in there was around what are the prospects of getting remote jobs. I am based in Cameroon, And by the grace of God, we've been able to connect a good number of people for remote opportunities in the US. And one of the things I'm currently working on right now with the team is we are working on partnerships. All right, we're working on partnerships. If you were able to see all these experts from different parts of the world connect onto this call, it's because of the value they've seen in Solavisetech and they're buying into the vision. So we are connecting with the right people, where we are not just going to be an institution that only trains people, but we are training people and connecting them to internship opportunities. We are training people and connecting them to jobs directly. So that's actually what we're working on right now. And for those who are in Cameroon, next week I'm going to be traveling over to Boya for a speaking engagement where Solavisetech has been invited as one of the hosts for a tech conference in Boya. I'm going to be speaking for that event. So we are creating these relevant opportunities where our students are going to be connected to this job. So you don't just come up and say, oh, you know what, I went through a boot camp, or I got the certification, and then after that, what next? And I tell people, one of the biggest markets in tech, which people are not aware of, which is called the hidden job market, is around recommendation and referrals. Trust me, guys, recommendations and referrals. There are many jobs that are not announced out there on job boards. There are many jobs that you won't see posted out there. Let me give an example. A few months back, the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman, was fired as the CEO of the company. And in less than 48 hours, Microsoft created an opportunity and hired him instantly as a CEO in Microsoft. That role wasn't existing. But how come somebody was hired within 48 hours? He did not go through any interview process. It was because of value. They saw the value in him, right? And he was able to, showcase what he's able to do. So in Solavisetech, we're not just teaching you the hard skills. We are teaching you the soft skills, just like Dr. Olivier was saying. Those soft skills are what will make you stand out, guys. Anybody can learn this technical stuff. Anybody can learn it. How come in Solavisetech, within a short space of time, we're able to break into cloud, we're able to break into data science, we're able to break into cybersecurity, and we are pulling this number of persons. We are creating these valuable relationships. It's because of the power of networking. One of my favorite speakers says, when you open your mouth to speak, you tell the world who you are. So in the course of this training, we will teach you how to be able to effectively communicate and how to network. So on the side of, is it possible to get remote jobs? Yes. But are you going to be the right person to get that job? That's where you need to stand out. And for you to stand out, you need to walk your way through. It's not going to be easy. The market is true, there are jobs out there, but the number of persons equally going for those jobs is huge. Because you need to understand the dispensation where we find ourselves in. Every dispensation, every generation has their own opportunities. So in our own dispensation, our own generation, these are the emerging opportunities that we have. So many more people are getting educated, and so they are rushing into these fields. So for you also to be able to make a name, to stand out, see, it doesn't matter where you find yourself. Whether you're in Africa or you're in Europe or in the US, it doesn't matter. Are you hungry enough? Are you humble enough? Are you ready to do what it takes? For some people, they are so, comfortable with what they've been doing. They say, you know what, we have always done it this way. I'm used to do it this way. But they don't have that mindset to unlearn and relearn what works. So it's not about what you've always been doing, but the question is, how flexible are you to learn what works? So that's what we're doing right here. About the jobs, yes, they are there. You can get them. But the question is, when the jobs show up, are you going to be ready? They say luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. If the opportunity comes right now, just as what we're working on, are you going to be that right fit? If an opportunity comes where we have to recommend, for example, are you going to be that right person for us to recommend? Because the moment we are recommending you, we are putting the reputation of Solavisetech at stake. But are you going to be the right person? So our focus is in the training. We are not looking for people who are just, in a hurry to, I want to get a job. I want to get a job. When I started my training, for those who know, just one person was aware of what I was doing. Dr. Angelo was on the call here. I segregated myself. I was in Bafusam. For 12 months, I did not travel to any other place. I sat down on one place. I even sold my car. I paid for the training. And I said, I'm going to cut off all distractions. And I sat down to study. For 6 months, most of the time, I wouldn't even open my door for 3 days, 5 days. My wife would be the one to go out and do everything. I was doing the training where I had the 4 months old son. For some people, they're going to have to complain, like, you know what, maybe I don't have the time, maybe work. I had my 4 months old son in my hands, and I would do the trainings most of the time at 12 a.m., at 1 a.m., at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm up. Because you're getting into an industry where you will be collaborating on teams where you have people working in different time zones, and you have to adapt to those changes. The question is, are you going to be that person who is going to say, you know what, I'm not flexible, I'm just used to working during the day, I go sleep? Now, what if you're working in a company where you have to adapt and collaborate with people on different time zones? So in the course of this training, you are not only going to be learning those tools, you are also going to be learning some habits. And when you work on those habits over time, you become used to them, and you're able to collaborate and work in any environment you find yourself. And one of the reasons why you should also look at this is because, let me give an example. If I leave from Cameroon right now as a medical doctor and I'm going to the US to work as a medical doctor, I can't just go into the system and start working. I have to go spend some years to integrate into the system. I have to take some board exams, and take some time while working. I have to continuously certify myself. But you know what, guys? Microsoft in Cameroon is Microsoft in the US, is Microsoft in India. Google in India is Google in Australia. So it's a universal something. If you have this skill set while you're here, if maybe your prospect is to travel to another country anytime, you don't have any issues of integrating. All I need today is to have my laptop with me and I'm at work anywhere I find myself. So, and equally, you don't need to quit what you're doing to be able to do this, right? You can do this alongside with what you're doing, so you can be able to, have that work-life balance and all of that. So there's a lot we can say, but we're going to leave it at this point. So for those who are willing to commit to the process, I want to say this again. For those who are willing to commit to the process, this is not for everyone. We are looking for people who are really hungry. And like we said, everybody who has spoken on this call is going to be part of the team that will accompany you through the journey. So if you want to be that person, you can just hit on the link that we have in the chat, to join a WhatsApp group right now, where we're going to be starting on Monday. We are trying to filter, right? On Monday, we will take you through that journey. Just click on the WhatsApp link to join in. We want to take you through that journey where for 4 days, you're able to have a high level of what you should anticipate in April, right? And once you wrap it up with that, there is a special offer we're going to make for those who are going to go through that process. There's a special offer we're going to make for those who are going to go through the process. And like we said, it's an 8 months intensive process. Is it possible? Yes. You're going to have a training 2 to 3 days a week, 2 hours a day, right? So at least 4 to 6 hours every week, you're going to commit to this. And you have a supportive team. You are not on your own. You're not coming to learn this thing from scratch on your own. You have a supportive team that's going to help you through the journey. All right. So let me take a look at the questions again. If there is a question we have not yet handled, I think we've already talked about, okay, the person of getting a remote job. I think I've answered that. All right. I'm equally here in Cameroon. We're playing around that. Masters scholarship recommendations. Just like Marvin talked about the masters, Solavisetech is equally in partnership with Kesmos International University. That's the most accredited university in Africa. Kesmos International University is in partnership with Solavisetech. And once you have a certification through Solavisetech, which is going to be accredited by KIU America, it's an international certification. You can stand out anywhere in the world. And students who pass through our academy have discounts. We have special discounts for those master's programs, even up to PhD, right? You're able to get even up through PhDs through our institution. So whichever one you're interested in, you can equally just reach out to us and we'll be able to connect you through with the admission for those programs. So yeah, ability to land jobs besides boot camps and online courses. Well, it's we are not giving anybody any 100% guarantee, like we said, but then you going through this program, you definitely increase your chances. One, especially through buying into the networks that we have, which is most important. Number 2, you're going to be taught the ability to learn, how to learn. All right, what we're going to give you in the next 7 to 8 months, that's not all. It doesn't mean that after 7 to 8 months, you're going to leave the community. You're going to become a part of the community as an alumni. And so some opportunities, like we say, opportunities remain within the community. So you need to be where those opportunities are, so that when they come by, you increase your chances, of having them. Then the next question we find in the chat is computational linguistics and natural language processing. Let me find out from maybe Boris, in the curriculum, if this is in the scope of what you designed and was reviewed by Dr. Shu and the others. I don't know if this is in that scope, the experts who are going to be training.
Yeah, Otavis, that is a machine learning model that uses unstructured data to be able to, to behave like humans. You understand? And so in the program, we're definitely going to be teaching people how to use both structured and unstructured data, how you can convert unstructured data to structured data and then feed a model with it, and it's able to use it and do whatever. So in machine learning, like we say, you're trying to train a machine model to behave like a human. And the things about human beings are all the things like you can speak, can see. So if your thing is about linguistic, that's about training a model to speak, right? You have Siri. If you have Siri in your computer, like this guy was saying, those are they have the ability to speak, the ability to see. Those are neural networks. You see, those are models are available out there, and you just have to learn how to use these models to do whatever you want to do with them. So that's what I can say as far as that is concerned.
All right, thank you very much, Boris, for making that clarification. So I see people are equally interested in the data analysis and data science program. So yes, that's exactly why you're here. The program itself is going to start properly by mid-April. We're going to make that flyer available as we wrap up next week with the webinar series. So we want to encourage you to take on the webinar series. For those who have not joined the group chat, I think it's pinned in the chat. You can just click on the link and join in. So that's what we have for now. As well, we currently have a program running up on cybersecurity, which is going to start on the 1st of April. We could have a program in cloud computing and DevOps. All right. So these are the different areas in which Solavisetech is specialized in, and you have a team that is ready to take you through the process. Choose any area that you want to navigate through, and we're going to be here to to help you through. All right. So without much ado, I want to really appreciate all of you for making out the time to be here. And like we said at the start, we are looking for one person. We're looking for one person who is willing to go through this journey. And if you believe, if you're a faith-based person like myself, Bible says one will chase 1,000 and two chase 10,000. Initially, it was like a dream for me. I went into the field and with a burden to take it over back to my community. I see it getting to life. I don't know who is going to be the next person that is going to join the train to maybe take data science and machine learning to the next level. But where we are going at goes beyond just training, because we are taking this thing to the level of working on amazing projects. In the near future, we're going to be building amazing stuff for Africa, for the world. And you definitely want to be part of this trend. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I believe that it's going to be maybe someone from here who's going to join the team. So at this point in time, before maybe we wrap up, we want to take feedback. One of my mentors always says, feedback is food for champions. We want to take feedback from you, both positive and negative. Let's do that maybe for the next 10 minutes or so, and then we can call it a day for this particular session. So the mic is on. You can raise your hand, or maybe you can just unmute yourself, and we'll pass it over to you so you can give your feedback. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was quite something to take in, Doc. And I love the way you just mentioned it with a lot of passion, because that is what makes Solavisetech very different from any kind of bootcamp provider. There are those people who just promise you, they align their bootcamps towards passing a certain certification. And then once you have that, you're done and over with, they finish the transaction with you. And there's something that I've seen on the chat come out so a number of times is there's a real task for mentorship. And that is on the one unique selling points of Solavisetech, that we are not here to just give you a training program from 12 weeks, then tell you go out and go figure it out by yourself. No, you might get a role and you get a job on something to work on a certain project, and you maybe do need to analyze or deal with a certain data problem. You can always reach out to your mentors, even if it's a work problem, and then they'll be able to guide you. So that means is not really looking at you just thriving in terms of learning, but also thriving in your workplace, whether it's a startup venture or whether you are being hired for anything. So I'd also like to thank all the speakers. You really made me shine. You really did well with your answers. So that means that as much as people are saying I did not some coordination, I couldn't have done that if you didn't have content. So you have really done a very good job. Special thanks to Boris, Malvin, Dr. Ibrahim, and Dr. Olivier for that awesome job. And I really hope now, Dr. Olivier, you'll have some way of warming up that breakfast and taking it now, because I know you've looked at it long enough. So that is now, it's enough to look at it now. It's time to eat it. And for those of us who obviously took something, I don't know whether you now go for another chicken, but regardless of whatever is going to be eaten, go easy on it. Go easy on the food. It's all yours. Let the data let the data show that you have the domain knowledge when it comes to food. So with that, unless there's anything, I'll take it back to Dr. Samba or anyone to close the session. I've really enjoyed it. Let's meet on Monday. I'm also learning. This is not my domain area. I'm into cloud and cybersecurity, but I'm already hooked in terms of getting to know what I can make out of this. So please, let's meet on Monday for the free 4-day webinar series. Thank you. And I could see us. Yes, I could see Asaf here. Awesome, great to see you here, Asaf. And awesome seeing different names here. Special mentions. I'm seeing different people from here in Kenya. We also in the roadmap, we're going to have a whole Solavisetech community here in Nairobi, Kenya, and it's going to be really, really like I say, powerful. We're going to now be the start as we move on to different cities around Africa, and I can't wait to we start having physical sessions, get to see the chicken going down. so thank you so much, and I really appreciate
it. Kevin, you didn't
yes.
ask me what I ate though, but I just want to say this.
Yes, please tell us, Doc.
No, I'm not gonna say you didn't ask me. I just want to say for all the speakers, from Olivier to Ibrahim to Dr. Samba, yourself, to
Malvin.
2 more. Yes, Melvin, and please, you guys stay behind. Let me speak with you guys for a moment.
Okay. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely evening, rest of your day.
Yes, Kevin, before we drop, I quite want to appreciate, we have, I see Dr. Jude Berry stepped in as well. He has been here all through. Dr. Jude, we really want to appreciate your presence as well. I see we have the other persons we didn't call at the start. I see Engineer Aben Sistus is here. We have Bay Declare here. We have someone with Nebio, Bonham, Cyril. Thank you for making out the time. We have Filer. We have Geraldine from the US. We really appreciate things Canada appreciate having you. Hiram, Immaculate. We equally have Yvonne, Marcellus, all these awesome people. Paula B, Philip, all these persons. Thank you so much for making out the time and being consistent. So the session starting on Monday, there is no restriction, right? So for those who did not attend this session and who want to be part of that event, we would advise that you let them get to us to be able to watch this recording, so that there are questions they will ask next week, because most of them would have been answered during this session. So we want them to go through the recording. It's going to be available within the next 24 hours, so they can go through the recording, and then they will get enough value to know what to anticipate, by next week. All right. So without much ado, if there is any feedback, we would love to have that feedback, maybe 1 or 2, as we bring the call to an end within the next 7 minutes. And the persons, all our speakers would like that we stay put as we have the conversation with Dr. Kizito just right after this call. Thank you very much, Hassan. We appreciate the feedback. Thank you. Anyone wants to get on the spot? We would like someone to just get on the spot. We're going to pick someone randomly, right? Let's just get someone randomly. Maybe let's just get a feedback from Dr. Jude, if you're in the position where you can speak, Doc, we'd like to get a feedback from you. Hello. All right, maybe let's get Sistus. If you're in a position for a feedback, we would like to get feedback from you. This just goes into our documentation. We always love to get feedback. Awesome, Bill. All right. Okay. Okay, I think there is no feedback at the moment. So, okay, awesome. Thank you. We're getting the feedbacks in the chat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Eric, please just kindly take a screenshot of the feedbacks we get as we move over to the next conversation. So we've come to the end officially of this session. Thank you all so much, and looking forward to Monday.